This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to the program. Joining me now, John Brummett, columnist with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Good to be with you, sir.
And good to be with you. Happy Monday.
Yes. Let's begin with a few things in Trump world. I want to begin with the fact that he has named Warren Stevens, CEO, chairman of Stevens Inc., as his pick for United Kingdom ambassador. As Trump picks go, this one's a pretty good one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think what I wrote yesterday was, with everything being relative, when you measure this appointment, this nomination against the field of Trump nominees, this one positively soars. It's conventional, which is what really distinguishes it. Warren Stevens is an elite businessman with international finance experience, record of community service, and traditional Republican political involvement. He seems to be out of central casting for such a nomination, and it's altogether seemingly appropriate. But what really makes it even better is that Warren Stevens, for a time, was not a Trump supporter. He was supporting groups that were looking for alternatives. I won't call him a never Trumper, but he was averse to Trump when there were other choices. And he's liked Asa Hutchinson, he's liked Nikki Haley, but when it came down to the dreadfully binary choice that American voters get from these two political parties, he, of course, is a standard business Republican who cannot abide economic liberalism of a California genesis, and he went with Trump, contributed a lot of money, and reaps a reward. But he's rare in Trump land in that he has that background, but yet he gets what is a plum appointment, one of the most prestigious, next to the UN ambassadorship. I mean, this is pretty elite, and good for Warren Stevens. Good for him. We bid him a fond farewell and good luck in that role.
All right, another bit of Trump news. He sits down with Kristen Welker from Meet the Press on Sunday, and we learned that he wants to end birthright citizenship. He plans on this mass deportation to begin on day one. These were a couple of things that came out of the interview. Should we take them all at lip value, or should we, as we do with most things, Trump, just wait and see?
You know, my outrage threshold has risen very, very high. You can Trump has forced it to rise to the point that it can barely be met by anything he merely says. I've got an old a Trump associate who says what you have to do is just not pay attention to the first or second time he says something. And see what happens, because tomorrow there may be something else that's on his mind. And this source said that was something that, say, John Kelly, the chief of staff, couldn't do. Military man, he thought words mattered whenever they were said, and kind of freaked out. So with that in mind, and knowing that if you want to amend the 14th Amendment to take away birth citizenship, you've got to get 2/3 of the Congress to refer it. You've got to get 3/4 of the states to approve, ratify it, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So these are Trump words that don't amount to anything. Probably attempt to do a roundup of all the illegals. Physically difficult, physically challenging. He's going to start with the known criminals in the criminals other than being illegally here, and that's an incremental start. That who's against that? I mean, if we've got known criminals in our illegal immigrant population, we ought to gather them up if we can and send them back. So okay, the interview did not alarm me, did not even disturb me. It was just Trump being Trump. And I'm not just particularly, I don't think any of it's going to quite happen as he says. I know he's promising it. But if some of it does happen, all right, incrementally. Who can argue with deporting criminals in our illegal immigrant population? And the birth citizenship is a legitimate issue. It is. Some countries don't provide for that. Some free democratic countries don't. But he's not going to be able to get it done physically. So another interview, some more words from Trump, and so what?
All right. You're desensitized to it, is what it sounds like.
Well, I think I'm not alone in that, and I think it's occurred to a lot of people on the left. We just play into it, or they just play into his hands when they go off on everything that he says. Just let him say it and go about your business. Whatever is left for the left to have as its business in this country, and don't desensitize the country to your assaults on him. You indict him on how many counts it was. How many is he going to go to jail over? None. So let that be your guide. Limit your indictments, whether they be in court or in your rhetoric. That was that. Yeah, that's what.
Gotcha.
All
right, let's shift our gears to state Arkansas politics. I had an interesting interview with State Senate President Bart Hester over the weekend. He's got some pretty strong thoughts on what he wants to see happen with higher education, certainly with Medicaid. There's a lot of suggestion there that there's waste, fraud, and abuse in the system taking place. When I
believe stealing. Didn't he say stealing?
Stealing, yes. I was trying to, sugarcoat it a little bit there, but anyhow, I think when you look at what I'm told are some of the reasons for the problems with our Medicaid funding in this state, they don't tend to involve stealing, or there'd be people in jail over that. What'd you make of his interview? What do you make of some of the bombast there? And do you see a little bit of that style come into the Arkansas legislature?
I think Hester, who has spent several years in naivete and on a steep learning curve as a senator, has achieved leadership through his personal popularity, and is in his second term with the support of a popular governor. He's kind of feeling his oats, and I think he also is doing a mild Trump imitation. I mean, it's just. It's MAGA. The people who are getting, the providers of Medicaid services who are getting those services, most of them seem to be stealing because he's saying, just because since I've been here for 10 years, we've increased their money, this and this and this, and all they ever tell me is that they're in trouble. Well, why are they in trouble when we've increased their money? And it must be, in fact, he said, it may be stealing or it may be something else, but I think he strongly suggested he thought it was more toward improper use of the money, shall we say. If so, we've got Medicaid fraud investigators, we've got auditors, we've got, and if he wants to open an open-ended investigation of Medicaid during this session, go for it. I'm all for waste, fraud, and abuse being addressed, but healthcare is more expensive. Long-term care is more expensive. Medicaid is more expensive, and as the state's personal income grows, the federal share of our match has been reduced. I mean, have you got more money than you had 10 years ago? I hope you do. Do you still have trouble financially? I bet you do.
So we will have a lot to keep our eyes on in the upcoming legislative session. He's John Brummett, columnist with the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. As always, great to get your take, my friend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.